Welcome to the Soul Too Early Sports Card Podcast. Hey, remember that time I said last year that the Celtics would make the playoffs? Can you listen to me? It's pretty funny. That's Kai. I'm a hobby de-influencer. Thankfully, I brought on an expert who does know what they're talking about with sports cards and in general. What's up, Lane? LJKCards. How you guys doing?
What's up? Thanks for having me on again. Excited to be here with Kai this time.
That is true. Yeah, dude, I don't remember why, Kai, you were...
When was that episode?
A while ago. I think maybe you were dealing with a power outage.
There's been a few times, Kai, you've had to miss for like scheduling issues. Obviously, you had a hurricane, which was a big deal, but like I think this was just one of those times where like you just weren't free. It had to be a couple months ago at this rate.
Yeah.
What is super funny though is Lane's going to be on at least a couple times between this episode and another future one. I mean, listen, I don't know, Kai, what you're going to be doing while I'm gone. This is my last episode for 2 weeks. I'm going on my honeymoon, getting married on Sunday, which is fucking crazy. So, Kai, please do not burn the house down while I'm gone.
There might not be a channel when you get back. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, listen, I don't know that I would trust leaving Kai alone with the channel.
Listen, all I'm going to say here, Kai, is if you do get us banned on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Earth, at least do something really funny that just like makes it worth it and clip it for me so I can watch it.
Be impressive to get banned on all of them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, have to do something really
it has to be real bad.
Listen, have you listened to me talk? I've set the bar so low, it doesn't matter. But anyway, thankfully, like, you know, I'm excited that you guys are here. I'm excited that we're able to talk. It's been kind of a crazy couple of weeks in the sports card world. Elaine, I sent you a bunch of questions earlier today or yesterday. Some of the funny ones. I think this is a good leading off conversation. This came from Rare Trading Sports Co. And it was, do you think Fanatics has industry plants to farm content or promote for them? I mean, I can start quickly and just say, no, I think it's just too complicated to even like have that thought process be there. It's super funny. It's like put on your conspiracy helmet to just like, yeah, I got to make sure I know what I'm doing. Like I got to make sure these hobby goats and influencers get what they want. I just think it's kind of bullshit, but I'm curious to see Kai are
you talking about like Fanatics putting them on, or like who?
So I think what this was referencing was, I think at this point now it was either Saturday or Sunday of this past weekend. I think it was Mama Breaks who was talking about like the Jackson Holiday. What's it? Yeah. It's not it's the Fun Face. That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's the Fun Face SP.
Yeah, she was talking about it. Go for it.
I don't think Fanatics plants anything. There's no point to it. Also, something like a flagship baseball product, there is so much of that product created, and there's so many different SKUs. I don't know how you would even keep track of that, even if you wanted to like plant something with that. There's just too many SKUs, too many cards going too many different places, so many cases being sold on the secondary market from shop to shop, just in general. But something like flagship, that's just, you're just creating drama. You're just wanting clicks to be talking about stuff like that. But in general, no. Fanatics is not planting anything. The big breakers are hitting these cards because we're ripping so much. Whether it be at Leighton, whether it be at Blaze, whether it be Jaspy's, Backyard, any of the big breakers that are ripping case after case after case, of course they're going to be hitting big cards. They're also going to be hitting really bad cases where literally every single person in the case loses. Even if they did hit something nice, it still is a loss. That's just part of the game. That's part of ripping. But if no one's ripping, then there's no new cards entering the market, which means you can't buy the singles of the new cards of the new players. So no matter how you look at it, whether it's group breaks, personals, something has to be ripped in order for the cards to enter the marketplace.
Lane, that's too intelligent of you. Can you try again and say it's a conspiracy? What the fuck, dude? That's how I had you on this podcast. Start over. Yeah, you are way too smart for this podcast. Can you try again here?
Sorry.
You also might. Yeah, okay, you're good. That's your one warning.
Fair.
Yeah, of course. Kai, what do you think?
I mean there's just so many like variables that they would have to nail to make that whole thing like line up. That I mean, if they would have somehow hired them to do that, like that would have been crazy impressive. But like Lane said, I mean, people are ripping all day at these places. I mean, Leighton, do you guys do 24 hours or what do you guys stream?
No, we're not 24 hours. We're probably about 16 to 18 hours a day.
I mean, even that's insane though, right? I mean, if you're ripping for 18 hours a day, like basically all week, I mean, you're bound to have some stuff like that happen.
I saw that you guys also were doing like Instagram lives now for like selling cards too, so that's interesting.
Yeah, we're streaming on 3 different places, or 4 different places technically. YouTube and Twitch, but those are like the same stream, but technically 2 different platforms. Then obviously Fanatics Live, and now we're back on Instagram, but just personals on Instagram right now.
How does Twitch do? I didn't know that was like a thing for cards.
We've streamed on Twitch for years. We're one of the few breakers that were on Twitch. Now there's a bunch on Twitch, but we've always had a pretty decent following on Twitch. We seem to like it. It's a good simulcast with YouTube. It's user-friendly in that sense that you can do both at the same time. So we don't see a reason not to.
I just didn't even know that was a thing, honestly.
So, Kai, when I first got into sports cards, the breaker that I used at the time, his name was Nasty Breaks. His name was Scott. He was awesome. He was an awesome dude. I really liked him a lot. They would primarily go live on Twitch and Breakers.tv, which I think Breakers.tv is still around, but like not really.
I don't think it's called Breakers.tv anymore, but I do believe it's still around.
I'm going to quickly Google it. I'm just curious to see if...
What was the original one that everyone would go on?
It is still there. Okay.
Lane, what was the original one?
I'm not sure. I'm blanking on it.
You know what I'm talking about though? The original like live streaming website.
I know what you're talking about too. Fuck. It's not didn't start with a J, did it?
Oh, Justin TV, right?
Well, that was live streaming in general.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But I do think that's where people were streaming from.
Yeah.
For break.
Okay.
First. That and YouTube.
I mean, YouTube thankfully has been around for about 20 years, 15, 20 years at this point, which is kind of crazy.
Exactly
pretty early in on the internet was YouTube's creation. Yeah. Like in on like where we're at in the internet. But,
I mean, dude, you got to think about it too. Like you have marketing experience. Like I have a decade plus of YouTube experience. I'm 27. Like that's kind of crazy to think about out loud, but YouTube and the in general like social media world that we're in now has really been influenced by technology. And I mean, obviously you look at the sports card world. Listen, it's very weird to say this. We're not old, but we have been on Instagram's platform combined 25 years, almost pushing 30 years. It feels like actually between the three of us, like we have seen a lot of bullshit come through the sports card world. And I think Instagram really has become,
especially for a lot of cycles of social media through the card industry.
Yes. And also I've realized this too. Facebook leans a little bit older. I mean, older for us would be 30 to 45, let's say, give or take, which I mean, obviously there's a lot of collectors and people who do buy, sell, and trade who have more money because they're obviously a little bit older. But Instagram really does seem to cater to under 30 audience predominantly. And it really is like the springboard for so many people to kind of begin their sports card journey. And it's just so interesting to me that like just somehow right place, right time, all three of us somehow found it and like we became actual friends too through it. It's just fucking wild to me.
Exactly. The newest one that I've been checking out is actually Twitter for sports cards. I don't know if either of you mess with Twitter, but I feel like that one's kind of recently grown into a social media for cards. I don't know if it's necessarily for cards, but that people are using for cards. And I've been finding that it's been pretty interesting.
I just started doing that kind of in the last, I want to say maybe like 2 months ago, I made a Twitter. I think actually reactivated my old one that I had that I lost, and it's pretty good. I've made a few deals on there. I like the fact that if you follow just 10 or 20 people that post a lot, like your like For You page or whatever the left side is, like it'll just pop up like cards all day.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the platform that Instagram made, or I guess I should say Facebook?
Threads,
yeah.
Yes, I have a Threads account. I've not posted on there in 6 months. I somehow keep getting followers. I don't know what the hell is happening. All I was writing was my most deranged thoughts.
I mean, that's just
related.
brand recognition. If you made it Extraordinary Cards on there, people are following you just because that's the name.
It's so stupid, man.
I mean, that's what you built.
Do people use
I
that
know.
anymore? Or like, was that
A
one
few
week?
people still use it. I know Lamine James uses it kind of
Oh,
as
really?
just like a joke to make content every day.
I didn't know if that was like a 1 week like flash in the pan thing, like when Twitter had their thing or
is.
whatever.
It
It
is.
pretty much is, but I do think some people still use it.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people made them for cards. I didn't know if anyone kept up with it or not.
I used it for about a week.
Yeah, I mean, looks like I used it literally for about a week, and then I posted about it one time. My last post was on August 13th of 2023. I wrote, what fell off quicker, Threads or Telegram for sports cards?
Oh, Telegram.
Telegram,
That
definitely.
That was. I disagree.
the
I don't
OG
know,
Discord.
dude. The Telegram,
we-
like, I didn't
Imagine
use
if
it a
we had
lot.
just launched a Discord instead of that Telegram group.
Dude, we
Oh,
would all be
man.
so rich.
We
That
fucked
would have
up.
been
That's
insane. Yeah, we messed up.
We messed up big time.
We messed up.
I do.
We gave
Listen,
them the idea, and then they just took it and made it better.
I
That's
don't know
so
when Ryan,
true.
I don't know when Ryan's Discord launched. I really do like it. I also really like Ryan as a person. I actually sold him a card yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah, I do a good
Super
amount
easy.
of business with Ryan.
Yeah, like it's so interesting to me that like he obviously has an insane collection. He's obviously doing well for himself, but he's like actually a human being. Like if you get a chance to talk to him at a show or
I
online,
don't know that I would call it a collection. I would more so call it inventory.
fine, whatever you want
I'm
to
just
call it.
saying.
You're right, but like,
But it
the
is an
point
insane amount of cards that are really nice.
Yes, but he's also actually a human being who like can hold a conversation, and it's so funny to me too because like when you get talking to him about sports, like he's pretty intelligent when it comes to like actual normal takes. I've really realized this lately, and I will stand by it forever. The more of a player or card you seem to have, the worse your takes in sports in general seem to be because you are like, go for it.
You're naturally going to be biased towards who you have money into. What
Yeah,
I've
but,
also
like-
noticed, though, is the people that are good at sports betting or that actively sports bet at a pretty high level usually have decent takes when it comes to sports because they're really following it. Now, their takes aren't necessarily correct, but they're usually at least some logic behind them.
Yeah, listen, I think. Listen,
I said usually.
I mean, from what I've seen about C-Blast too, it's like he's not even really doing cards right now. He's just like making gambling content. Like
he's probably doing cards behind the scenes, but I mean, hey, good for him. He used his platform, he used his following, and he's doing his thing. Chad's a good dude.
I've talked to Chad in person, I think once. I've told the story before, but it's super funny. So this was a Dallas card show about a year ago at this point, give or take. And I had a very early Sunday morning flight, like 6 a.m. flight back to New Jersey. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, I had a very good show. Like, I'm tired. It's like 10 p.m. Let me go to bed. Like, no, let me be a responsible adult. Get up like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, like get packed, whatever, go back down to the lobby. There's still people trading in the lobby at like 4 a.m.
OG trade nights.
Dude, not even the OG trade night. It was just like people were still drinking and like making deals. And that's where I met Chad for C-Bless for the first time and had like a decent conversation with like for 10 minutes with him as he's like hammered, still trying to make deals. I'm like, all right, cool. This was fun. I gotta go. Why are people still up? What kind of industry am I in? No, listen, I've said this a few times too. I may meme on content that is made about sports cards as many of people do, but as human beings, I generally like most people in the sports card world. There are some that are actually scummy humans in general who just make bad content, but most of them are actually kind of okay when you talk to them about anything but how they're trying to sell you on fucking rat poison. Shout out the Mason Rudolph collection that you and I, Lane, own and have to sell off soon.
I'm telling you, that's going to work out.
It is going to work out. I will stand by that. For the price that we got it at, it literally cannot go wrong.
It will work out. Kai's like, what are you talking about?
What if he gets like a DUI and never plays again?
No, that won't happen.
Yeah, he's
Don't
fine.
speak
He's
into
cool.
existence.
Yeah. Don't even talk about that type of stuff.
Yeah, come on. Listen,
Can you
Will
imagine
Levis-
if Will Levis like blows his knee out and then?
I mean, I never want to wish injury on anyone, but maybe just like rolls his ankle and has to like sit out a quarter, and then Rudolph comes in and just looks really good and keeps the job.
Dude, if he throws one touchdown in like the fourth quarter of a close game, like you guys are doing well.
No, you guys are both already wrong. What's going to happen is he's going to come out in the preseason, like game 1 or 2, because there's no reason for Levis to play. Maybe play like a
Dude,
drive.
Levis is definitely playing in the preseason.
Well, a drive or 2. Like he's not going to play like the game. He's the starter.
Not Patrick
Obviously,
Mahomes. He needs practice.
It's actually kind of weird, Kai, because a lot of QBs are actually not playing as much of the preseason as they used to do.
You know what? I take that back. Desmond Ridder played like one series last year in the preseason. I take that.
Results may vary. The point is, like, he'll play a quarter. He'll play 2 drives. Rudolph will be playing a half, whatever. The third or fourth string will get a quarter, whatever. All it takes is Rudolph to throw like a nice 40-yard bomb to Calvin Ridley.
Treylon
or
Burks.
Yeah, they actually have decent weapons.
Do they have?
Plus, they went out and got Tony Pollard. Yeah. Like they actually have some weapons right now.
They have a good team. Like not the best, but solid.
They're just missing a decent quarterback.
So many people posted Justin Fields highlights when he threw a fucking screen for 2 yards that turned to a 60-yard touchdown in the preseason that it doesn't fucking matter. And I'm telling you, going to do this. I'm telling everyone I'm doing this now because I made fun of it last year, and I'm just going to fucking do it to the 10th degree just to annoy people. The second Mason Rudolph does anything, he can throw a 5-yard out route. I'm going to fucking post it 7 times for every card that we have of him just because I don't give a shit. It's just so funny that, like, people just assume that our industry is so dumb that I can do it mockingly and it will still go up because it doesn't matter. And it's really fucking funny to me, and it'll never not be funny to me.
Yeah, it's FOMO. Everyone is, it's so bad FOMO. But it happens across every industry. It happens across so many different things.
I know, but in the sports car world,
he's actually doing something. I need that.
The issue is in the sports car world is like in like real industries, like usually these people are college educated theoretically. In the sports car world, you don't even need a high school degree to do this. And I think if you can tell by the DMs that we get, I'm pretty sure most people did not even graduate 4th grade. So,
I mean, fair. It depends on which platform we're on.
Listen, I can only imagine the DMs that you get on. I'm going to separate this into 2 questions or points. I can only imagine the DMs that you get on your account, Lane, and I can only imagine the DMs you guys get on Layton's Instagram. I have to imagine it is 2 separate degrees of hell.
I mean, I don't handle our Instagram anymore. I leave that for our marketing team.
Yep.
So, I mean, I would assume it's not that bad, but I can't speak on that. My DMs are fun. I have fun with my DMs. We'll leave it at that.
It's a scary time out there.
Dude, I did I did like a $15 like paid promo post just to like try to see if I could buy some stuff, and I've never had more inbreds in my DMs in like a weekend, like ever. It's so bad.
Was it people that you followed that like just DM'd you, or was it just like
no? It's like random people seeing it, and it's just like
you made your buying post sponsored.
Yeah, I put like $10, $15 on it.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, you're asking to get flooded with like just absolute nonsense, just 80s, 90s junk wax era junk, like base prism and mosaic. Like, yeah, you were asking for just not a fun time.
I don't know what I expected, but I expected a little bit better than what happened, but it's fine.
Did you buy anything from the post, or was it just like, okay?
Honestly, now I kind of want to try it and see what happens.
Please, Lane, I would love to see if it's just my like dog
it could be a good experiment.
Please try. I would love to see that.
I'm debating doing this too, but like, I'm not gonna do it now. I'll do it when I get back from my honeymoon.
You guys have more followers than I do, so I think you guys might have an aneurysm faster than me.
Yes, but Kai, here's the thing about my followers is that like, my account's not dead, but it's definitely an old account because it's been around for 8 or 9 years at this point. So like, I have 21,000 followers, which is really funny, and I have horrible engagement because I don't give a shit. But like, I also got accused of buying followers, which is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Because why would I do it?
Or half your followers from like Saudi Arabia.
See, I'm in a similar boat with Dave, where like my account's almost 8 years old or 9 years old at this point, and there's just a lot of people that follow me that no longer collect cards.
Yep.
That like were super active in the hobby, or just super active on Instagram and are no longer on Instagram. That's something that I talk about with a couple people pretty often. Is just like working on re-aliving my page and building the engagement back up to where it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we should probably do that, Lane. Do I really want to? It doesn't matter to me. Like, listen, I've been recognized in real life actually a handful of times, either from this podcast or whatever else.
Influencer.
Yeah, he's a huge influencer.
The two funniest things that's ever happened with that.
Come on, MTV, man.
Well, that's a separate hilarious thing. I got recognized on a cruise ship a year ago, and then
hilarious.
That was weird. He was like, "You're the guy who does sports cards," and then he just ran away. I never saw him again. Never got his name. And then, I was in Philly around Christmas time this past year. So there's a card show going on, but like we were doing like Christmas things, so I wasn't there. And someone saw me, recognized me from the podcast or whatever bad content I do. I was like, "Wait, you're extraordinary cards." I'm like, "Oh God, this is my nightmare. I don't want to be fucking recognized anywhere. I want to be left alone." So I would be.
It's too late for that.
I know. Listen,
if you really wanted to do that, you should have worn some sort of like costume,
marshmallow mask or whatever.
Dave, I don't know if you forgot or not, but I still have to get your shirt printed.
Yes, listen. I've Lane, I don't know if you know this bet or not. So during the NFL draft, we made a bet, Kai and I. Whoever got the least amount of picks in the top 10 correct, the winner gets to design a shirt they have to wear at the National. Now there are some guidelines.
It's not going to be bad.
What, that just can't get you arrested?
Yeah, the guidelines are I can actually wear it in public and not get in trouble.
Yeah.
So my idea for Kai was going to be like, I will do your trade up challenge, or I will pay X amount of comps.
Mine's going to be something similar. I think on your back, it's going to say something along the lines of like paying 100% comps, low end / bulk, tap me on the shoulder, I'm friendly.
I mean, that is literally him the last like 3 months.
Maybe it'll help.
That is facts. That's not even like a joke. Kai, that's literally what Dave's been doing. I don't know about 100% of comps, but the rest of that is true.
Kai, not for nothing. That is a lot nicer than what I would have done. I would have it would have been the most,
you don't know what's on the front.
There's been a lot of shows lately. There have been booths that say paying 100% of comps. And I'm just like, there's no way this is real life.
Well, and we had this conversation last week too, and I'm curious your thoughts on it. That is the beginning signs of a bubble, in my opinion. It's really scary to see.
I don't know that I would say it's the beginning signs of a bubble, but I do think it's the beginning signs of people getting scared. Because it's not everyone. Like, I'm still buying cards at 75 to 85% of comps pretty regularly. Like, it's not like it's impossible to find this. It's not like you have to pay 90, 95, 100% of comps in order to buy good inventory. I think that the people that are starting to paying 100% of comps, they haven't built the connections within the industry. They haven't built up their name within the industry. They don't have a brand. They don't have any sort of they don't have the connections. So their option is basically, I feel like I need to pay 100% or I'm going to fall behind and not be able to get anything.
Here's the thing about that, though. In other industries, like an outlier is just one sole proprietary thing. At a card show, though, there's so many people who do get afraid that all it takes is one person to have that, and everyone else around them has to price match, or they're going to lose that business. So it can very quickly spiral out of control. Even in Dallas a month ago, 5 weeks ago, whatever it was, the banners were saying 85, 90. There might even been a 95% comps banner out there. It's a real quick turnaround to where people feel like if I can get better money here or there, they're just going to sell off to those who have 95, 100% comp things actually out there paying that appropriately. And then everyone else will be priced out of the market. And that's why I think it's the beginning signs of a bubble, because it's not sustainable. The people who buy into the repacks, theoretically, who are the ones who are most likely paying that high percentage. If you're a normal dealer paying 100% of comps, you will not be a dealer long. I don't care what you're buying. Like,
see, I agree with that. And the last show I was at, the booths that did say paying 95, 100%, there was almost no one at those booths. So again, I do think that they're only posting that in order to try and bring traffic to the table, because they're not traffic otherwise. And they're still not necessarily getting the traffic.
I think it's also like, are these people really paying like 100% of comps? Or are they like devaluing your card when they comp it and then paying 100% of that? Like, I feel like that's almost what's more going on there, but I don't know.
That's the other thing, is what comps? What are we constituting as the comp that they're paying, quote unquote, 100%?
Yeah, I'll pay 100% of comps of anything I find in 2016.
Right, like, exactly. Deal. I'm with you. Yeah. Unless it was Carlos Correa.
Correa's actually been doing okay.
Or Gleyber Torres.
Yeah, he's been bad. He's been really bad this year.
I remember when I was first getting into Bowman, if you wanted to be one of the people, you had to have a Carlos Correa Bowman on it.
I mean, listen, times have changed so severely. Like, we can get to the whole conversation about Bowman. Like,
I think Chris Bryant was almost crazier.
Yeah, Chris Bryant was also in that same realm.
Yeah.
Bowman's crazy to me because you can be the greatest prospect ever and like have a nice debut, and your prices will still go down 40%. Who the fuck is talking about Jackson Chourio these days? Who's talking about Jordan Walker? He also got demoted. He might still be.
Jordan Walker isn't being talked about because he's been so bad.
But like
every single time he gets called up, he's been so bad.
It's back to what Lane said though. I mean, it's just FOMO. Like, it's the same thing.
You have to create FOMO.
It is. Yeah. Obviously, it's FOMO. I mean, that's the. I'm just curious to see what Jackson Chourio prices are at, if I can even find it.
Probably a third of what they were 4 months ago.
All right. Well, I can't find Jackson Chourio.
They're probably right around a third.
I don't want to use Jackson Holiday. That's a bad example. Who's another?
Now, are we buying Acuna cards or is he toast?
He's toast.
Unfortunately, I think that his card market is never gonna like truly grow to huge heights. But I mean, I still think a blue can get to 6 or 6,500, which means that a blue is a buy right now. I still think a gold can get back to where it was at like the 14 to 15, maybe even 17 range, which again means that a gold is a buy right now. I don't know that I would be touching base autos of him. I don't know that I would be like flying at random year autos, but like at the same time, like he came back last time from a torn ACL and had one of the best seasons ever in the history of baseball. Like these athletes are freaks of nature. Like, who knows what they're going to do when they come back.
So really quick. So Lane, you're saying Ronald's better than Soto?
No.
I thought we had you there.
Kai, that boat has unfortunately sailed for you. Here's the thing I will say in Lane's opposite perspective.
But both are really good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good.
The issue with Acuna is obviously he got hurt pretty early in this year. He did come back in 2022 and have an acceptable year. I mean, below his standards. And then obviously 2023, he had his 40-70 year, everything like that. There's a real possibility that he loses basically a year and a half to 2 years worth of quality prime playing time.
He'll be back at the start of next season. He might even be able to come back for the postseason this year because he got hurt so early on.
Yes, but like at what percentage? Because like in 2022, he played 119 games. Obviously, he missed the first month of that year, but like he was.
It's a mental thing.
But he was a shell of his former self. And by the way, a shell of his former self was still an all-star. Had 15 runs, 50 RBIs, stole 29 bases, had a 112 on base percentage or 112 OPS plus. So he was an above average hitter, but but that was him getting back into his own body. So
that was him coming back from his first like true major injury. So it's a mental thing to get over the hump of getting back comfortable being in the diamond. Like he's already done it once, so he knows what it takes to get back to that level. So I think he'll be able to adjust quicker than he did the first time he came back.
Tough part is, though, that he's only played one full season since 2020.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the issue. I mean, that's like a Hall of Fame,
and that was
issue.
the Hall of Fame type season. But other than
yeah,
I mean, that's the same issue with Trout.
Yeah. Well,
Trout
put up 10 years before that, though.
Yeah. I mean, Trout's a Hall of Fame, obviously.
All of them don't put a lot of the stars these days aren't putting up full seasons.
Yeah.
Tatis hasn't had very many full seasons. Like a lot of these stars or players that we see as stars aren't having full seasons.
Well, Tatis, I mean, the end goal of these players obviously is to have a Hall of Fame career. Acuna, in my opinion, is off the trajectory. Like he's off the trajectory,
but he could still get there. He's young enough to still get there. He's only either 25 or 26. Like he very well could still get there.
I almost wonder if you just like DH him.
So Acuna will be entering next year at 27, which is still his prime. But the issue you run into is he was a speed predicated guy who had incredible bat speed and like could obviously hit for power. But with 2 torn ACLs, one in each knee, or how much in each leg, whatever, how much of his game is now going to be lost? 10%, 20%, 25%, 5%, whatever the number is, it is going to be gone.
Modern medicine.
Yeah,
it's still gonna be. It's gonna be gone in some degree.
I mean, it was only one leg, but I think it was from last season to this season. He dropped like 30 percentile in speed, and he was on pace to steal more bases.
Well, that is changes.
Obviously, he's got a second torn knee now, but still.
Also, there's a difference with the whole pitch clock, and like you can only throw like picking off and all of that. Like that changes the number of stolen bases too. I mean, isn't Ellie on pace for like 100 stolen bases this season?
Yeah,
he's also like probably one of the fastest players to ever play baseball.
He's absurd.
Ellie currently has 37 stolen bases in 72 games, so he's actually off pace by a lot.
I don't even think he's like that good at baseball. I just think
37 stolen bases in the middle of June.
That's crazy. That's like Ricky Henderson.
I don't like Ellie at all either. I mean, we can have that conversation in a second, but I want to finish my point on Acuna. Speed first guy, obviously base got expanded. Obviously rules help with stolen bases too. How much of his game is going to be lost moving forward, it's hard to say. Tatis, different conversation because of steroids. He lost an entire year to being a fucking idiot because he had his moped accident and was suspended. But he's actually played more games in the last couple of years. Since 2021, 130, 141, and 76 this year. Acuna, 82, 119, 159, 49. So,
yeah, I mean, Tatis is having a crazy season this year.
The Padres are not, though, which is...
No, the Padres are really bad this year.
Pain all around. But I agree with Kai. I don't like Ellie's game at all. Ellie is a player who... The second he gets out of his prime, so a decade from now, which is crazy, how dare I have an opinion on this. The second he gets out of his prime, he's fucked because he just strikes out a ton, really doesn't walk a bunch, and so predicated on speed.
I mean, he's not a good hitter at all. Like he's
okay. I don't know that you can say he's not a good hitter.
He's like a league average hitter.
He's inconsistent,
which isn't good.
Wildly inconsistent. He actually has walked the same amount of times, 35. In 2024 as opposed to 2023 in looks like 120 less at bats, 80 less plate appearances. So he's walking a little bit more.
He'll get better in terms of plate discipline and stuff like that as he gets older in his career. That's just something that happens with maturity.
Yeah, I just don't like his game at all and how it progresses out. Like,
I mean, that's fair and I agree. I mean, one injury and he's done.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, how is Jackson Cherry? Once again, no one has talked about Jackson Cherry this entire year at all because no one watches the Brewers. I have no idea how he's doing this year.
The Brewers are actually pretty good, aren't they?
Are they? No one fucking watches them. No one talks about baseball outside of March, so...
Yeah, the Brewers are actually pretty good this year.
I think they're like second wild card behind the Braves. Oh, no, they're winning their division.
I mean, Cherrio's not really having a great year. He's batting .220 with 7 homers and 8 stolen bases with 15 walks. And 24 RBIs. That's why no one's talking about him.
There you go.
I do think whenever James Wood gets called up, he's actually going to be legit.
I mean, anyone that's actually doing well, people are talking about.
Yeah, Woods is on the Nationals.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was part of the Padres.
And
Soto
even if
thing,
people aren't necessarily talking about the players, their markets are being shown that people are paying attention to what they're doing.
Yeah.
or
Just
not
'cause they're-
paying attention and just not buying them.
I mean, a lot of players' markets have been going up as they're starting to get hot as the season's continued on.
I mean, Judge is nuclear
Yeah.
hot, but Judge is the literal perfect storm that you could hope for. Now, imagine if he was like 21 when he debuted instead of 25.
That was his only
Oh my
downside,
God.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
age was his only downside, and he still might end up being a Hall of Famer.
Judge is probably going to be a Hall of Famer if he stays healthy. That's the issue with him.
It's a
Like,
big if.
Right now, at 32 years old, so he's in the middle of his prime, 46.4 WAR, 283 home runs, 283 batting average. He actually stayed healthy outside of 2019.
He's gonna have to get to minimum 400 homers.
Judge will probably get there within 3 years, given his pace.
Was he 26
Now-
or 27 when he was a rookie?
He was 20. He was 24 technically, but like his breakout year was he was age 25 season. But
yeah, he has to at the absolute minimum get to 400 while he's still in his prime.
if Judge leads the Yankees to a World Series and gets the 400 career home runs, he probably makes the Hall of Fame.
He'll have to get to like a good amount over 400, but 400 will be the absolute minimum.
You know what I mean by that
Yeah.
statement. But one MVP, one Rookie of the Year, gonna have a bunch more All-Stars because he's a Yankee. Will be a Yankee theoretically for the rest of his career. He's signed through what year is he signed through? His age 39 season, so 2031.
It takes him to the end of his prime.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's hitting 30 home runs at age 39, then
That's what I'm saying. Like it takes him through his prime.
yeah. Injuries aside, you have someone who is very much on the track being a Hall of Famer. It's just crazy though. Like all it takes though is a couple of bad breaks, and you're Mike Trout, who is an incredible player who has become our generation's Ken Griffey Jr. And it's just so awful because Trout is probably the best player that I've ever seen, like their career take place in real time for me, because he debuted in 2010. So I was 14. So
I mean, mine still has to be personally LeBron, but if we're sticking to baseball, then it's probably Trout as well.
okay. Okay, yes. I will. That is the correct statement. Yes. LeBron is obviously better. Well, Brady too.
Well, I was gonna say Brady.
For baseball.
Probably.
Yeah.
Baseball.
But I don't know that I was necessarily actually like watching and following football like when Brady debuted, whereas I was actually watching basketball when LeBron debuted.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't alive when he debuted, so I couldn't watch.
Oh man,
That's scary, Kai.
That was 99, right?
Scary to think about.
LeBron debuted in 03.
No, he's talking about Brady.
Yeah, some about Brady.
Brady debuted in
I think it was
01?
99 because I have a rookie.
2000.
Was it 2000? It was one of the two. Yeah.
Yeah, 2000 was his rookie year.
I'm an 01 child.
Well, I don't know if he actually played his rookie year. That's why I'm saying that.
Well, his rookie year was 2000. So you
He
might.
came in- I think it's 2000 because I think we have a rookie ticket of him, and I think it's 2000.
Okay, so technically he played in 2000. He played one game.
He came in the
played
fourth
one
quarter of
pass.
a blowout. Yeah.
Yep. 2001 is when Brady became the starter, played 14 games. Okay. So
That's wild.
I know.
That's always something I've wondered. If a situation like that, if you had to own like a ticket, would you rather own the game he came in the fourth quarter of the blowout, or his like first start as like the quarterback?
Probably first start because it's your debut.
But it's not.
Not for Brady.
I don't know.
I-
Still probably first start.
I think
First.
I would rather have the first start, but I'm just wondering.
I agree with you. I think first start is the correct answer. Now, I don't know what would
Depends on
sell.
sport, and I guess it depends on sport and like player.
Yeah. That's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for football, I mean, there's only 16. There were 16 games only, so kind of hard to say. But I don't know. It doesn't matter at that point. I think if you own either item, obviously it's phenomenal value, so it doesn't really matter.
Like if I'm a running back, I'd probably rather have like if I scored a touchdown in my second game, but I started the first, like I'd probably rather have that second game ticket than the starting game. I guess a lot of it depends.
If you're a starting running back, you only have like 4 years anyway.
Yeah, you only have like 8.
That's also true. But like, no, if you like think about that, like if you were a rookie running back and you scored a touchdown in your first game, but then your second game you started, which ticket would you rather have?
Probably the touchdown, right?
Probably
Yeah,
touchdown,
it's your debut game and you scored a touchdown, but it's not your first start. So that's why
What if it's like a garbage time, like 1 yard line handoff, like.
Yeah. So, I was looking at game worn jerseys before the episode started. I got a real blast from the past. I don't think Kai's gonna know who this is. Lane, you remember Vic Ballard?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And now I pulled up 25 random running backs from 2010s. David Johnson, obviously everyone remembers him. D'Angelo Williams, LeGarrette Blount.
I know all of them. I just don't know who Vic Ballard is.
He was a Colts of running back. Jonathan Stewart.
I remember a Ballard on the. His name wasn't Vic, was it?
It was Vic Ballard.
Oh wow.
Mark Ingram. I have a game worn jersey of him. Devonta Freeman. LOL. Doug Martin.
I need a Michael Turner game worn Falcons jersey.
Michael Turner stuff actually sells for too much money for.
He doesn't have anything. What he is. He is
also Steven Jackson gets no love.
Who?
I love Steven Jackson.
Stuff is so cheap for how good he was.
Falcons legend.
Yep. Alfred Morris, throwback. Steven Jackson's on this list. Maurice Jones-Drew. I saw him on.
I think see MJD.
MJD's so good, man.
MJD is one of the more underrated running backs in my life, I think.
Yeah, he won me so many fantasy championships.
Here's a forgotten one, I would say. Matt Forte.
Oh, Forte. I don't forget Matt Forte.
Nah, he was. If you played fantasy football,
GOAT.
Any time during his career, you definitely know Matt Forte.
Matt Forte, LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Jamal Charles for like 4 seasons was.
Insane. I mean, MJD was one of them.
MJD.
Yep.
Any of the Bills running backs like Fred Jackson, all
Fred
those
Jackson's
guys.
Literally my favorite like random player of all time.
Oh man, I have a couple. I pulled up 2010s of running backs. Rashad Mendenhall.
Oh
yeah. I mean, he was solid for a couple seasons.
Yep. Ahmad Bradshaw, Payne. My favorite nickname, the law firm, and Jarvis Green Ellis.
Yep.
Love that nickname.
Then the Patriots had so many just like random ass dudes at running back.
Yeah.
Javed
the
Best.
Patriots were so known for that. It would be like a 5th round running back that comes out of nowhere and just somehow rushes for 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Who was the guy that had I think it was either like 4 touchdowns, 200 yards? Who?
Jonas Gray.
Yeah, him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brandon Jacobs. I forgot that Brandon Jacobs is a Giants fan for a minute there.
LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount, I already mentioned. Danny Woodhead, famous for his little prank video he did with
Toby Gerhart.
Toby Gerhart.
Yeah, Toby Gerhart. Oh man.
Sean Green, Chris Ivory. This is the entire podcast.
Alexander and his like 3 years of greatness.
Joseph Adai.
Kai, did you actually get to watch Sean Alexander?
I don't think I really followed football yet. Because I would have been like, what, like 06 maybe?
06, 09.
Yeah, like 06 to 09-ish.
Yeah, I think I like started in like, right when Matt Ryan in like 08 kind of.
Oh, here's a throwback. Zach Stacy.
That's not too old. That's like 2013, right?
Literally 2013, yeah. Donald Brown. Trevor Richardson was actually good for a minute there.
Who was the other Rams dude that had like one insane season? Was it Stacy or was it another guy?
No, it was Stacy.
Was it Stacy? Yeah. He had that one crazy year.
Rashad Jennings, Pierre Thomas, Stephen Ridley, another Patriots running back out of nowhere. All right, I'm gonna do one more year, and I'm gonna actually go back to like asking my question. Let's look at 2009 real quick. This is all I wanted. I just want to talk about like random players from the NFL.
Yeah, this is fun.
This is way more fun. Ricky Williams. I forgot about Ricky and how good he was.
Yeah, Ricky was
an entire draft for him, right?
What'd you say?
Literally, Ricky was so dominant.
They traded an entire draft of picks for him, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the Saints, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Saints traded, I believe it was literally every draft pick for just drafting Ricky.
Cedric Benson.
A lot
No
of
Sean
Texans.
Moreno.
Arian Foster.
Arian Foster's after this, but
Arian
yeah.
Foster went from like this scrawny nothing to putting on like a full coat of muscle. The Texans were like, "You're too small to be a running back." He was like, "Nah, watch this." Came back to training camp, just a completely different player. They were like, "All right, let's see what you can do." And then he led the league in rushing, and
He's
then
got
got injured.
Cadillac Williams, Steve Slayton, Beanie Wells. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many good like 2 and 3 year backs, and then they're just gone.
Did you say no Sean Moreno?
Yeah, he said no Sean.
Oh,
Yeah, my brother, my oldest brother actually played against no Sean. It was crazy from what he told me.
I want to see you play against no Sean.
I'll die. I mean, I'll probably still die now. He'll just run me over. It would actually be less
we would
competitive.
definitely get ran over. We would all get ran over.
I'm dead.
All three of us at the same time?
Yeah, all three of us would 100% get ran over by no Sean Moreno.
We have no shot.
No, we might have a small chance that like maybe he trips over one of our bodies. But yeah, no shot that we aren't all trucked.
We're dead. All right,
but maybe one of us like grabs his ankle or trips him up just a little bit.
I don't think it's happening. I think we're screwed. All right, let's go into some more questions. I have 2 from Bagel and Wax. This one's interesting. This is a good conversation. So he wants us to discuss gatekeeping within the industry.
I feel like it's kind of hard to gatekeep anything.
It is, but I more think he's referring to like how people flex and say they have influence over
people
things.
Try to way too much.
Yeah.
Well, like what's something you can even like gatekeep?
I mean, there's a lot of different forms of gatekeeping, but I feel like what he's referring to is kind of like how there's a good old boys club, and then there's the people that are in this like conspiracy theory club that are trying to like save the hobby and keep it safe and make it a fun place, and like they're the ones that are creating the drama, even though they're trying to quote unquote gatekeep and keep it safe. I'm assuming that's kind of what Vadim is talking about when he says like the gatekeeping topic. I think people just need to stay in their own lane, do what they're comfortable with. If you want to put out content that is you trying to come up with conspiracy theories, you can sleep at night, then good for you. Enjoy your like 500 to 1,000 views, and no one really actually cares what you're saying, but keep putting it out. Enjoy your time. Do what you want to do. If you want to post card content that is actually just showing off your cards that you enjoy, I hope you get a ton of followers. I hope you get a ton of viewers, and I hope you grow within the hobby, because that's what the hobby should be, as opposed to trying to be negative and put people down that are just trying to build who they are.
I've said this a few times, and I will stand by this. Sports cards, especially online, dude, is so fucking clicky. It feels like we're back in high school again. Like
100%.
I just don't get it. Like I thought that bullshit disappeared, but obviously it's gotten worse in this profession, because everyone obviously has an agenda, and like that's perfectly fine. But I figured that as we got older, people would be like less inclined to like act that way. But we've gotten worse, and I just don't. That's where I think the gatekeeping comes in that way. Like the only thing that quote unquote gatekeeps you is your ability to financially spend if you choose to. If you want to spend $100 a week, perfectly fine, dude. You can enjoy your sports card hobby. It truly would be the hobby at that point. You might buy into a break every week or so. You might buy a couple of dollar cards at a local card show, and you'll be the happiest person alive. Frankly, not a bad existence. If you want to do this full time, you have $5,000 to spend every week. Cool. Your experience is going to be vastly different. You're going to have people in your DMs trying to like hit you up and buy, sell, and trade with you all the time. You might have $1 million, and you're going to have guys. I'm not going to finish that statement. You're going to have guys just all over your DMs trying to like suck up to you. Yeah. So,
I mean, it's true. Everything you're saying is correct. I mean, it's kind of that simple. I also think that it goes back to what we were talking about with FOMO. And part of the gatekeeping is created through FOMO, where people are trying to like, it's also social media. People are trying to create a picture that isn't necessarily, which creates the FOMO, which creates a sense of gatekeeping that, oh, well, I'm at this level and you're not at that level, and we're not going to let you get into this level. And it's kind of nonsense, because at the end of the day, it's sports cards. Like, we're all doing the exact same thing. We're all here to have fun. If you want to make money, make some money. If you want to just collect. Like, we're literally all here for the exact same reason. And it's because sports cards can be a job that everyone wants.
It's true. I mean, honestly, like, the only, I don't even want to call it FOMO. The only barometer I test myself against is me. I don't care. I mean, I care what you guys are up to. I care that you guys are making money. I care that you guys are happy. But, like, my barometer for success is me. How did I do compared to myself a month ago, a year ago, 6 months ago? Did I do X, Y, and Z better? Awesome. Here's what I could have fucked up on. Here's what I could have improved on. I care what you guys are up to. I care what my friends are up to, obviously, and that's not what I'm trying to say. But in terms of, like, me having FOMO, it's about, like, damn, where did I mess up? Where did I achieve something I should have done? Where could I have done better? Like, that's my barometer. And I think
that's self-awareness.
Yeah, I think once you develop a level of self-awareness and also critical thinking, you get much farther in the industry perspective of sports cards as opposed to the hobby side. If you want to spend $50 a week and just buy $1 cards on whatnot, fine, dude, nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, have fun, crush it, enjoy.
Dude, I sometimes wish I could turn my brain off to the industry side. I can't anymore, dude. Lane, I'm sure you and Kai maybe have this problem as well, but like, I have been to so many shows in my life. I can walk by a table and within 10 seconds, I already know if I'm buying something or not.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's really bad. I can't like rewire my brain because it just got into the point now where it's like I can't turn it off. And I'm trying to teach my younger cousins about sports cards, and I have this like very business oriented, direct, like hardened way I've learned about sports cards, quote unquote. And it's good to learn, but it's not. You will have less fun learning from me. But if you choose to go down the route of being a business perspective, you'll be financially successful. And it's like, is that what you want? It's tough.
See, I agree. When I'm at a show, I kind of have that switch flipped on where I'm here for business. I'm here to make as much money and get the best deals possible. I'm here to also hang out with my friends and say hi, go to dinner, enjoy myself. But I'm here for business. I'm here to get done what I need to get done. But that's kind of the opposite when I'm working the shop and like kids come into the shop. Those are some of my favorite days when I get to actually educate them and kind of build up that next generation where I'm teaching them about cards and I'm explaining how grading works and how they could buy this $5 Paul Skeens Chrome and get it graded. And it could be a $200, $300 card when he actually debuts, which literally did happen to, I want to say the kids, either 7 or 8 that comes into the shop. Being able to like explain that part of the hobby to people and like actually explain the value of base cards and how base cards can catapult your collection into a bigger collection. And you can go from base cards to grail cards if you're patient and actually go through the right processes. Those are honestly my favorite days in the shop versus days when like, and there's nothing wrong with it, but versus days when like people come in that are dead set on their ways that, nope, this is how it's done. We're going to look at the Beckett book and I'm going to pay this amount and I'm not paying a penny over 80% of comps. I don't care what the card is. Like, granted, a customer is a customer. I'm going to treat them the same, but I 100% prefer and enjoy my days when it's the little kids or just people in general that are new to the hobby and I can actually educate them and explain to them the best way to go about the hobby to make it actually fun for them and learn what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly.
Well said, Lane.
Yeah, dude, you are way too overqualified for this podcast. What are you doing here? Like, goddamn, dude. All right, what else? Actually, we kind of touched on this from Bagel and Wax as well. He was mentioning learning from going personal business to corporate and cards. So, I mean, Lane, you obviously, your journey in sports cards is a little bit different than Kai and I's. You actually now work at Layton. You've been there for 3 years.
Yeah, almost 3 years to the day.
Oh my god,
that's crazy!
Congrats, that's actually insane. So like, obviously your perspective as a corporate shill, obviously, because you don't have an opinion that is not influenced by the dollar. How dare you? Obviously, no, your journey in the sports car world is so vastly different. I think the main thing that I would want to know, and to expand on that, is like, who has your personal either collection or how you buy, sell, and trade, or just negotiate with people in general, shifted as you become obviously more enveloped in Leighton, the industry side of the sports car world. You have access to inventory beyond the wildest dreams, or the ability to like see and do things in the industry like the average collector and the above average collector wouldn't have. Like, what does that look like? How does that shape your journey? Like, what is going on these days?
Yeah. So first off, it's definitely a unique perspective that I'm able to have going from doing cards full time on my own, traveling shows, and then going completely kind of polar opposite where I'm now working for someone. We have set goals. I'm also managing employees. So I'm not just managing myself in my own business. I'm also working under someone as well as managing someone and making sure that they're accomplishing the goals that I need them to accomplish for my team to get where we need to get to. So it's definitely, there's a lot of bumps in the road. There's a lot of hurdle to overcome, just learning new stuff. But overall, I would say it's been an amazing learning opportunity. Like you said, I'm able to see some cards that I could have only dreamed of seeing. I'm able to go to some experiences that if I hadn't gone to work for Leighton, I probably would have never actually been able to experience. And a lot of that is going to shape how I continue to grow within the industry and how I'm able to continue to improve, teaching people about the industry, how to allow them to grow, as well as how to continue to make the different repacks better. But I think everything happens for a reason. I think that I was presented the opportunity at the right time. It was an opportunity for Leighton to grow into the singles market at a much larger capacity than they were before. Before I got there, they were only doing one repack every quarter or so, versus now we've been doing them for the last 4 months, literally every single week, as well as now we have singles in a storefront. We set up at shows with singles. So none of that was happening 3 years ago. So I was able to bring a lot of my knowledge into what Leighton already was doing. And then I was able to learn myself a lot from Rich and the team there, how to make myself better within the industry as well as within business. So it's been a lot of give and take. It's been a lot of us working together in order to kind of mesh all of our knowledge to make everything work. And then in terms of how my actual collection has changed, it's changed a lot in the sense that I kind of focus on PC cards or PC players. I don't just focus on investments because I do have a job that covers the bills. So I don't necessarily need to flip cards in order to make sure that I can make my car payment or make my rent. But it also allows me to go after slightly bigger cards, knowing the risk that if they do go down, it's okay. I might lose 1,000, I might lose 2,000 or 3,000. But then if I make that back on a couple months later, it's also all right. I'm not, again, doing flipping for a living. I'm able to actually enjoy the cards that I'm getting. At first, I was getting some burnout because I was trying to continue at the pace I was before I went to Leighton, where I was actually buying lots pretty much daily. I was trying to flip them daily. I've kind of cooled that back where I'm focusing on auction houses. I'm focusing on online like singles, buying on eBay, which I had never bought on eBay prior to going to Leighton. I think literally I had bought like 50 total items in my entire time in cards before going to Leighton. Now I use eBay somewhat regularly. So I've just kind of changed the way that I do cards. I still enjoy cards. I still love cards. I still prospect. I still do all of that. And I was able to bring my knowledge and my kind of point of view on singles into the repack game, which I feel brings a lot of value to the repack game, which in a lot of ways kind of legitimizes it, because there are a few people that create amazing repacks. And then, of course, there's going to be some repacks that we see all the drama about that. Oh, they're putting $5 cards in a $400 repack. That's the type of stuff that I hope people watch the repack that I make, and they're able to see kind of what a repack should look like.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the thing about you, because I've sold you a couple cards before too, is you don't target Silver Prism 10s. You don't target maybe Kaboom every now and again. I'm not sure, but like you buy Lamar Jackson, Nike Swoosh autos, David Ortiz booklet autos, one of ones. Like you buy like actual cool collector's pieces or items that are like, oh wow, I might not be a Red Sox fan, but like, look at this David Ortiz, it's awesome. Look at this Wayne Gretzky patch auto. This is neat. It's hockey, but whatever. Oh, it's a Tiger Woods auto. Oh, that's really cool. I don't see that in a repack every day. Like you've actually found that middle ground of like collector versus like, oh, this needs to be a valuable asset and also at a good price point where everyone walks away happy. And also, not for nothing, Lane, you could also build a good repack from the stuff you have in your closet because you have the most insane collection that no one will ever see. My God, dude, please do whatever you can to start processing it all. The sheer magnitude. Yeah, the sheer magnitude is absolutely ludicrous. Please, 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 people bully Lane into doing this because it has to get done. Okay, well, we have one more question. It's obviously a joke. It was from Sarah Layton. She was asking you to bring back the bagels and schmear because you're in New York right now, obviously. One thing, and we were talking about this before the podcast, New York City, one thing I will defend forever, and I really hate New York City. I really do. The food in New York City is the best in the country, and I will fight anyone who disagrees with me.
It's the water. The water, so I wouldn't necessarily say all of the food, but stuff like bagels, stuff like anything that's kind of bread-based is going to be better in New York because of the water that's used to make the actual item. The minerals and everything that are in the water makes it better.
I will disagree and say everything in general in New York is overall the best in the country because
amazing chefs. It's because you can walk down the street and there's 80 different versions of any food you could dream of.
Yep, that's the only reason why I'll defend it because rent is also so expensive there. Your food better be good. And for $18,000 a month, or obviously a real number, I don't know. Yeah, your food better be incredible for if you're going to be in New York City. That's really all I have. Kai, anything you want to touch on? Or
I'm just enjoying listening to this.
Yeah, dude, same. I mean, listen, Lane can definitely talk, and I appreciate that.
Lane crushed that.
Yeah, I mean, you want the podcast? You want to take over?
He had a monologue there for like 5 minutes. He was just going crazy.
Take a nap. Yeah, dude, listen, we appreciate you joining us. I know you're going to be on and again in about 3 weeks, give or take. Timing's weird. We actually are going to have also on from Leighton, Sam, I think of Sports Cards. Sam,
that's going to be so much fun.
Dude, I am so excited because Sam directly asked to be on the podcast. I'm like, all right, yeah, like the best way to get on here is just ask me and then make sure I do it. Because otherwise,
Sam's collection is one of the most insane unknown collections in the industry.
Does he post anything or no?
He posts pretty much daily. It's just he has you'll learn more about him, but he's absolutely cornered the $100 and under segment of the market and just every day is pulling out cool card after cool card, and he just basically his limit on what he'll spend on a card is about $100.
Listen, you know what? That's fine because guess what? You can do very, very well there if you choose to. So I'm excited to talk to Sam. That'll be such a good time. I'm excited to see him at Fanatics Fest too because you both will be there actually. So
yeah, Fanatics Fest is going to be awesome. We're going to be set up with 12 showcases of singles. That I will have personally curated for the show. We are actually going to be doing trade up challenge for like little kids that are walking the show. So make sure you come to the Leighton booth if you are a little kid trying to do the trade up challenge.
Yeah, Dave.
We're going to have kids packs that we're giving out. We're going to be giving out different giveaways, different things like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to be setting up and wheeling and dealing at the show.
I should try and get next to you guys. I don't know. I have to talk to EJ about that then, because you have two booths then if you have 12 showcases. So
yeah, we have a 30x10 setup.
Oh my God, I'll talk to EJ. That'd be really fun, actually. I don't know how that's gonna be. I will say, closing thoughts though. The more I'm beginning to hear about Fanatics Fest, the more I'm like starting to hear people talk about it. I actually think it's gonna be really good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing show.
That's a bold statement, Dave.
No, shut up, Kai. I mean, not for nothing. The biggest issue with the show was like people not knowing anything, and obviously we don't know a ton 2 months out. But the more I hear, the more I like, and I really think there's something here. And
To be fair, let's be honest. Since COVID has happened, how many of these big shows haven't been good? Like, honestly asking that question.
Well, I think the main issue comes up when you time them with another big show.
Yeah, but the other big show is in the same area. So, like, yeah, you're competing with it, but you're not really competing with it.
What is
you
the
theoretically
other one?
go to the other one that's the
What's that?
same weekend is the East Coast National, which happens literally a train ride away. So you could attend both shows if you really wanted to.
I mean, I will say this, and I've said this a few times. I'm not surprised. I do think Fanatics actively chose that weekend. I think they're trying to take over the National, and I think that's step one. Because step two is in November when I have to decide if I'm going to Fanatics Fest on Orlando or Dallas. And that'll be a question I have to figure out in a couple months, and I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm excited for that show. I'm going to definitely go to the Orlando one.
Yeah, I will also be at Orlando. It's going to be a really good show. I do think that the Orlando one it's going to have a little bit more flair to, or I should say a little bit different flair to it than New York has. Whereas I think New York is kind of like bringing out all of the big guns when it comes to sports. They're bringing out Sabrina Ionescu. They're bringing out Brady. They're bringing out Serena Williams. Like, they're bringing out everyone for this. I think they're still going to bring out a ton of people for Orlando. I just think there might be a different flair to who they're bringing out and how they're presenting the show.
Cole Anthony, you're the star of the show. And on that note, see you guys. Oh shit, see you guys.
No, let's go with Paolo. Come on.
No, Cole Anthony. See you guys in 2 or 3 weeks. Timing's hard.
Anthony Black.
Bye.